Hello, everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis, the state of Tennessee. It's in the county ship. Today's date, early Monday morning, is February 22nd, 2016, time 2 a.m. First, I thank all my family, my support for your continued encouragement and support. I continue to keep myself employed right here in the city of Memphis in this tri-state area. And I'm continuing to further my education at Monroe College online, pursuing my associate degree study in business administration with concentration marketing. And well, the music that you're hearing in the background is this is Africa.me website. They had three radio stations: Hit Radio, Ghetto Radio, and Classic Radio. What you're hearing is the Classic Radio station. Let me turn the volume down. And for today's video, we're gonna continue where we left off yesterday uh, on my previous video, and we're gonna continue today. We're gonna go into the old King James version of the Bible, to the Old Testament and into the New Testament. We're also gonna go online, and we're gonna go to this Holy Quran, and we're gonna also refer to some books that have been written by Dr. Joseph Omasede Abelelu, uh, uh, and also Dr. John S.M.B. And I'm also, right before I get started, going to make a reference to some of the professors who've written papers about African traditional religion. I'm not going to go through the whole paper, but just a few things I want to give some encouragement to people, to some individuals who, like myself, are interested in studying uh, African traditional religion, because it is being taught in institutions of higher learning in sub-Saharan Africa. And there are colleges and universities that they have a department of religion and philosophy, and they teach African traditional religion. And you can earn a bachelor's degree, master's degree, you can earn a PhD in African traditional religion at a college and university in sub-Saharan Africa, all the way from Senegal, African nation Senegal, all the way down to South Africa. And you can, if you can't afford to travel, that's understandable. If you can't afford to travel wherever you may live, outside of the continent of Africa, uh, that's understandable. But there's another option available. The National Open University of Nigeria, they teach African traditional religion online. And the University of South Africa, they also teach African traditional religion online. So there are many people who may be interested in studying African traditional religion, may not be able to travel to the continent of Africa from wherever you live. So that's another consideration you can think about, is distance learning, learn online. So right now we're gonna refer to some professors who written some papers on African traditional religion. One of the professors that has written a paper, Dr. T.L. Jimarai of the Department of Religious Studies, University of Edo Kita. And we're going to refer to his paper, Introduction to the Study of African Traditional Religion. Now, we're referring to Dr. J. Dr. T.L. Jimarai, referring to Part B, number 3, Part B, where it says the sources of the study of African traditional religion. It says, and he wrote, the greatest and unique source for the study of African traditional religion is oral tradition. The importance of oral traditions cannot be adequately quantified in the study of African traditional religion. Apart from oral tradition, be it by arts, stories, songs, tales, and drama, festivity, experiential participation is the second source for the study of African traditional religion. This provides a better understanding of African traditional religion as scholars see and know the religion from the inside. The rich mythological stories and folk tales can then be understood within their living context. In the attempt to get their sources, many foreign investigators use very many wrong terminologies on their observations. These are wrong interpretations than public of sources. Double standards were employed for similar objects, experience, and actions. This will not be treated here in detail anyway. And then we're going to also go to part C. Number 3, it said the aim of the study of African traditional religion. The purpose of the study is to find out what Africans actually know, believe, and think about deity and the world. It is to find out how the African beliefs have inspired the world views and molded cultures in general. The study is to eliminate reading in what is not in African traditional religion and read out what is in African traditional religion. It is to give a critical judgment and interpretation of African traditional religion in truth and as practice. The study is to show that the African religious experience is valid, true, and real. Investigators, especially foreign, should therefore learn to project African traditional religion as the Africans themselves say it in their language, culture, and language and culture. And, okay, that's part we want to read on that. So again, I just read from Dr. T.L. Jimarai of the Department of Religious Studies, University of Edo Kita, and his paper that he wrote is titled Introduction to the Study of African Traditional Religion. right there. Make sure it's in place right there. Okay. The next paper we're gonna read, I'm gonna read from is Dr. Julius Matugi Githogo, and the title of his paper is "The Reasons for Studying African Religion in Post-Colonial Africa." Okay, we're gonna start it. At the very top, it says, "In general, there is a regular rhythm in the pattern of the people's beliefs and practices, and this regular rhythm is the universal belief in the supreme being as an integral part of African worldview and practical religion. And in the words of the Logi Idowu, we find that in Africa, the real cohesive factor of religion is the living God, and that without this one factor, all things will fall to pieces. And it is on this ground, especially this identical concept, that we can speak of the religion of Africa in the singular. If we take, for example, the case of the Xhosa community of South Africa, we will find that their worldview has it that Kanete, God, was approached through the ancestors. In addition, the ancestral spirits have always acted as mediators between human beings who stood at the bottom, and Kamate, who stood at the top. This imagery, like many others, is a widespread notion, for even among the Kikuyu of East Africa, the ancestral spirits acted as mediators between human beings and God, Inge. This shows that the African religiosity has fundamental commonalities that make it African religion rather than African religions. In recent times, most African scholars of African religion, including Mbidi, have agreed that African religion is one in essence, for despite its varieties, there is undeniably a basic worldview which fundamentally is everywhere the same. It says here, the plural context in doing African religion, we must acknowledge that any religious discourse in Africa will have to be done within the context of religio-social pluralism, for indeed Africa is full of plural faith traditions. The dominant ones are African indigenous religion, Christianity, and Islam. Even within the traditional religions, John M. Beatty rightly says that traditional religions are not universal, they are tribal or national. Each religion is bound and limited to the people among whom it has evolved. One traditional religion cannot be propagated in another tribal group. This does not rule out the fact that religious ideas may spread from one people to another, but such ideas spread spontaneously, especially through migrations, intermarriage, conquest, or expert knowledge being sought by individuals in one tribal group from another. Traditional religions have no missionaries to propagate them, and one individual does not preach his or her religion to another. almost 6. And also, in the same paper, it said a study of African religion is tantamount to a religious dialogue. If it is done by Christian theologians, it amounts to a dialogue between Christianity and African religion. As Hans Kuhn says, there will be no peace among nations without peace among religions. If no peace among religions without greater dialogue among religions, he goes on to say, we need a more intensive philosophical and theological dialogue of theologians and specialists in religion, which takes religion's plurality seriously in theological terms, accepts the challenge of the other religions, and investigates their significance for each person's own religion. This dialogue is crucial considering that the dialogue between, for instance, Christianity and African religion has never been a real conversion. For as Laurenti Magise says, the contact between Christianity and African religion has historically been predominantly a monologue bedeviled by assumptions prejudicial against the latter, with Christianity culturally more vocal, excuse, and ideologically more aggressive. Therefore, we we may have heard until now is largely Christianity speaking about African religion, not African religion speaking for itself. Thus, there is need to study African religion as a way of making to enter into a form of dialogue with other religions, as it is in this way that Africa will experience genuine shalom. It is this shalom that will bring wholesome in the Africa of the 21st century. We all have a duty to usher in a new dawn in Africa today. excuse. And what the paper that I just read from is from Julius Mutui, Dr. Julius Mutui Katogo, in the title of his paper, The Reason for Studying African Religion in Post-Colonial Africa. And the paper that I'll read from now is The Study of African Traditional Religion and Its Challenges in Contemporary Time by Rotimi Williams Omotoyi at the Department of Religion, University of Illinois. And I'm going to read just read a little part of this. Let me see. I'm going to read the introduction. It says, the objective of this paper is to examine the relevance of African traditional religion and its challenges in the 21st century. Globally, it was a Herculean task before the religion was recognized by scholars from other continents of the world because of prejudice and bias. It is worth recalling the observation made by Abel Lelu, an eminent scholar of African religion and a pioneer of the International Association for the History of Religions in West Africa, that papers in African religion were first accepted for presentation in the 13th Congress of the Association held in Lancaster in 1975. In other words, previous efforts were not permitted by the organizers of the association. However, the situation is changing gradually. For instance, this paper initially accepted for presentation at the 20th World Congress of the Association of Toronto, Canada, held in August 2010, could not be presented because of my inability to obtain a visa from the Canadian Embassy. There are four issues to be addressed in this paper. One, what is meant by the term African traditional religion? Number two, what are the values of African traditional religion in the age of science and technology, most especially in the area of traditional medicine? Three, what are the challenges confronting the survival and continuous existence of African traditional religion? Four, some suggestions shall be offered to further enhance the study of the religion. Okay, the, uh, the methodology to be adopted is phenomenological approach. Adabo opines that a phenomenologist is identified by the way in which he goes about his work of attempting to understand and describe his environment. Edmund Husserl describes phenomenology as a descriptive science which seeks to unfold the archaeological realities in the objects, beliefs, and practices understood without presumptions, presuppositions, excuse me. In other words, we are to take into consideration the suggestion of Balogi, Dogu, in carrying out a serious study and investigation of people's religion. The codes identified by Balogi Adawu are caution, openness, sympathy, reverence, and adaptability. These qualities were absent in the researches of the early European investigators who were accused of bias, ignorance, prejudice, and lacking the necessary tools for an investigation into African religion. The scope of study of this paper is Africa in general. However, the content may be represented by Nigeria or West Africa. According to Abel Lelu, Africa is a large continent with multitude of nations, complex cultures, innumerable languages, and myriads of dialects. In fact, in most cases, reference shall be drawn from the Yoruba people of southwestern Nigeria to represent the African people. This is to avoid generalization of ideas because it is a large continent. Even in Nigeria, there are three major ethnic groups with many other minorities. There are about 250 languages, notwithstanding innumerable dialects. So that was another paper. And again, the title of this paper that I just read, The Study of African Traditional Religion and Its Challenges in Contemporary Time. And the authors are Rotimi Williams Omotoyi, Department of Religions, University of Ilorin, Nigeria. gonna stop right there. We're gonna get to this Bible in the Quran, and we're gonna get to the book. Excuse me. The Holy Bible, King James Version. We're going back to the book of the first book of Moses. First book of Moses is called Genesis. And we started at chapter 10, I think. Right, we started at chapter 10. We're going to get to chapter 11 right now. But there's just to refer back to the book of Genesis. We're in book of Genesis, chapter 6, when it's talking about Noah. And it's starting at verse number 15, where it started talking about the ark. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits. The breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. And we also notice that in the passage, we notice that God referred to himself as I. And it says here in chapter 7, it says, and starting at verse number 4, it said, "For yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and every living substance that I have made will I destroy from all the face of the earth." So it said, "For yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights." And then go down a little further, it says that after those 7 days, that the waters of the flood upon the earth. And that's chapter 7, verse 10. It says the 600 year of Noah's life, which was the second month, the 17th day of the month. And it says, we're still in chapter 7. Starting at verse number 20, it says that 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. And it says, chapter number 8, and it says, and the waters returned from off the earth continually. And after the end of the 150 days, the waters were abased. And the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountains of Ararat. So let's go ahead and go to chapter 11 in the book of Genesis. Starting on 1, it says, and the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower. Build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men built. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one. Sure. And they have all one language. And this they began to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of the earth, all the earth. And they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begat Arphax. Arphax had 2 years after the flood, and Shem lived after he begat. Arphax had 500 years and begat sons and daughters, and Arphax had lived 530 years and begat Salah. And Arphax had lived after he begat Salah 403 years and begat sons and daughters. And Salah lived 30 years and begat Eber. And Salah lived after he begat Eber 403 years and begat sons and daughters. And Eber lived 430 years and begat Peleg. And Eber lived after he begat Peleg 430 years and begat sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 30 years and begat Reu. And Peleg lived after he begat Reu 209 years and begat sons and daughters. And Reu lived 230 years and begat Serug. And Reu lived after he begat Serug 207 years and begat sons and daughters. And Serug lived 30 years and begat Nahor. And Serug lived after he begat Nahor 200 years and begat sons and daughters. And Nahor lived 9 and 20 years and begat Terah. And Nahor lived 9 and 20 years and begat Terah. And Nahor lived after he begat Terah 119 years and begat sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Now these are the generation of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran begat Lot. And Haran died before his father, Terah, in the land of his nativity in Ur of the Chaldees. And Abram and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abraham's wife was Sarah, and the name of Nahor's wife, Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Ishkay. For Sarai was barren. She had no child. Terah took Abram his son and Lot the son of Haran, his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife, and they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan. And they came unto Haran and dwelt there. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. Now we're going to go to chapter 12. It says here, now the Lord has said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make thee of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless trees, and curse him that curses thee, and 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 they I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curses thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be pleased. So Abram departed as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarai, his wife, and Lot, his brother's son, and all that substance they had gathered, and the sounds that they were, and the sound that they had gotten, and the soul, soul. It said his wife and Lot, his brother's son, and all that substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gathered in Haran, and they went forth to go into the land of Canaan. And to the land of Canaan they came, and Abram passed through the land unto the place of Shechem, unto the plain of Modi, and thee Canaanite was then in the land. And the Lord appeared unto Abram and said, unto thy seed will I give this land, and there builded he an altar unto the Lord who appeared unto him. And he removed from thence unto a mount on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west, and having Hadon, okay, now it's on the east, and there he built an altar unto the Lord, and he called upon the name of the Lord. And Abram journeyed, going on still toward the south, still toward the south. And there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land. And it came to pass when he was come near to enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarai his wife, behold, now I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon. Therefore it shall come to pass when the Egyptians shall see thee, and that they shall say, this is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will say thee alive. Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister, that it may be well with me, for thy sake, and my soul shall live because of thee. And it came to pass that when Abram was coming to Egypt, the Egyptian beheld a woman, and she was very fair. The princes all of Pharaoh saw her, and commended her before Pharaoh, and the woman was taken up into Pharaoh's house. And he entered Abram, and he entreated Abram well for her sake, and he had sheep and oxen, and he asses, and men servants, and maid servants, and entered and the Lord plagued Pharaoh in his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. And Pharaoh called Abram and said, what is this that thou hast done unto me? And he said, why didst thou not tell me that she was thy sister? He says that, why sayest thou, she is my sister, so I might have taken her to me to wife, so I might have taken her to me to wife. Now therefore, behold, thy wife, take her and go thy way. And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away, and his wife, and all that he had. I'm gonna start right there. And I'm gonna go to the New Testament. I'm gonna start reading from the book of Acts, but I'm not gonna read the whole. I'm gonna start at chapter 1. The former feasters have I made, only Theophilus of all that Jesus began both to do and teach. See, until the day in which he was taken up, after that he through the Holy Ghost had given commandments unto the apostles, and when he had chosen, to whom also he served himself, alive after his passion by many infallible pastors, and being assembled together with them, commanded them that they should not depart from Jerusalem, but wait for the promise of the Father, which said, okay, I'm gonna stop on that part right there. That's the book of Acts, chapter 1. I started on verse number 1. Stopped on verse number 4. Okay. I read some yesterday from the book that Dr. John S.M.B. wrote, one of his books that he wrote. Now, where I left off yesterday was number 4, chapter 4, God as Creator. I'm read the third paragraph. To describe the activity of God as Creator, the Akambe used two names which mean maker or created and sinner. The Akambe used two names which mean maker or creator and cleaver. The second is a metaphor taken from the act of spinning wood with an axe or slicing meat with a knife. The two names are complementary. And first, God creates or makes of things that exist. And in a second, he uh, gives them details, shape, distinctiveness, character. He makes the hand and cleaves to it in the finger. It dries the trees. So I'm gonna stop right there. I'm not gonna try to do too many paragraphs. Well, I read the third paragraph. Chapter 4, God is creator. I read the third chapter. Excuse me, the third paragraph. On page 65, second paragraph. First, all the myths give us the impression that creation is not ex nihilo, next nihilo. That is, the world and the things in it were not created out of nothing. To people, to the people, the idea of God created ex nihilo uh, is too abstract and too academic to satisfy humans. To satisfy human spiritual mind. Also, and so the myths all agree that the world was created and phenomenologically existing material. Thus, in the root of tradition, we have loose earth packed in a small shell. We have power programs. No, but we have pigeons. Excuse me. We have pigeons. We have hen, and we have the chameleon. When you ask the police, God created them all. When exactly they were experiencing, it says we also find that divinities usually carried down to hunt on the vast watery marshland. When you when you ask about the animals they were hurting, the fact is that it satisfies the average West African mind to say that something is made from another bit, from another thing. This type of question can be asked about all other stories. The fact is that it satisfies the average West African option is made from another thing which comes within the range of his everyday practical experience. Thus, the stories, whatever may be their short comments, are attempted by man to answer the question posed by the physical universe, especially as regards its origin. They are the results of the observations, reflection, and experience of man with regard to the mysteries of the universe and consequent attempts to explain them. Now I'm not gonna read the whole book, but I'm gonna start right there. The book that I was reading from. So even though we read and we know we want to point out a few things, but still, once you read or once you with the subject, once you get the subject up and going, that's what we've been doing. And I figure it won't be long for you know, for people be able to deal with the videos. But we're gonna end it right there. We're gonna come back next week. And we're gonna continue uh, with our study of African traditional religion. So again, my name is Eric D. Also known by BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis, in the state of Tennessee, in the county sheriff. Thank all my fans, my support for your continued encouragement and support. Continue to work on my entertainment and my music interests. So I'm not abandoning or forsaking my entertainment music interest by any means. So until my next video, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself and wish each and every one of your very best.